It's wet hop season, and the perennial wet hop beer that Founders has been doing for a long time now. I don't know when they started it. Their Harvest Ale, which they just call wet hopped ale on here, but it's really an IPA for all intents and purposes. It's 7.6% alcohol. It was bottled only 3 days ago, which is pretty awesome. The Founders got it here that fast. And I just read that every year they use whatever wet hops they can get in this beer, including some from Michigan, but I don't know if it's all from Michigan, some from the West Coast. I don't know what hops they have this year. They don't tell you at all anything on the website. They only list what's on the back of the bottle. That just says hazy golden straw color, super juicy hop presence, toasted malt undertones, and that's kind of what it's been like in the past. I don't remember if in the past if it had as many little kind of flaky things in the bottle. I feel like it was pretty clear in the past years. And maybe this year they're using some newer hop varieties, because it seems like the other past years of Harvest Ale, it was pretty much, the standard, really citrusy fruitiness in the beer. So maybe they threw some Mosaic or something like it in this year's batch. So if you don't know, wet hops are hops that they use without drying and within a few days of picking, because they go bad really quickly. Every single beer that doesn't say wet hop or make it clear that it's a wet hop, fresh hop beer uses dry hops. So this is the only time of year we can get these, and I think they're a little even more rare to get on the East Coast. But Founders is one where you can always find it. And it's looking pretty clear, at least with that pour. I'm using my weird glass that actually gave this one a pretty big head. It doesn't look super carbonated, but it's a really nice head. But I mean, Founders, their quality is always really, really high up there. Ooh. Yes, but what I get a lot from these wet hop beers is like a very perfumey, extra floral aroma that just seems to be too volatile and just disappears from the use of dried hops. But this just smells like sweet and perfumey. I'm sure there's some good sweet malts happening in this beer, but yeah, and I get some juicy fruit in there too. Bubble gum, cotton candy type of thing. Almost coconut. But yeah, it's really on the sweet candy end of the sides. Smarties. It's not a big like tropical fruit juice bomb thing, like a lot of IPAs these days. But it has a substantial sweet, fruity hop aroma. But it's not specifically like all mango or all orange or something. Yeah, it's a lot of really sweet candied fruits is what I'm getting. It's very, very soft citrus. Almost has like a Belgian fruity type aroma, which is another thing that I think I notice in these wet hop beers, is they have those really, really sweet esters present that are a lot like what's in Belgian yeast fermented beers. Ooh. And it's a lot of the same flavors too. That's from the aroma, and it's not super bitter. They say 70 IBUs, but it's really nice. It finishes with like a light peppery flavor, but I'm still getting a lot of bubblegum and cotton candy flavors, which is really cool. It's not like banana and clove like you also often get from Belgian yeast or German wheat beer yeast, for sure. But it's got all those fruity flavors that I've always loved in IPAs. And just a little bit spicy on the tongue with a brisk bitterness, but these sweet candied fruits still rule the show. It's just like any generic candy fruit flavor you can think of. Smarties, not quite sweet tarts because it's not acidic. There's no sourness going on. Let's pour the rest in there. Get some of the particulates floating about. Still can't quite see them though in there very well, but there were some. Yeah, Founders usually has their beers pretty darn filtered. It's really nice, but these beers, and especially the Founders one, is not an explosive, really bitter, really in-your-face aroma. It's not resinous and dank and full of like too many oniony flavors. There's a very, very light touch of green onion maybe in here, but it's not vegetal. It's not, like fresh bud or something like that. And that's what I noticed in a lot of these beers, because I think that's what they bring out of these hops. And they have to use a ridiculous amount by weight of the hops because they're wet and they still have all their, they still have water in them and all their oils in them. So I don't know if they end up actually using enough to get that intense dank quality that you can by using a smaller amount of dried hops. But you do get a lot of the perfumey, hard candy and like almost like Starburst and cotton candy and bubblegum things happening that oftentimes are overwhelmed, I think, when you use a lot of dried hops that have mainly just sticky resinous acids and things still in the hops. And there's not much malt going on with this one, which I like quite a bit, because Founders loves making a complex malt character in a lot of their beers. Well, this one, it has this kind of a Cheerios type finish, and enough sweetness to help bring out the extra fruity candy flavors of the hops. But this is not going to be, a sip of this isn't going to infect your whole face with hoppiness like some double IPAs or things like that. But I think it really lets the wet hops shine. So I'm going to give this one like a 87 or something. I like it quite a bit. I got the whole 4-pack. And I feel like this year they did use some slightly more tropical hops. It's not all citrus, and it's very, very light on the pine and earth character. It's really just about the sweet fruit. But highly recommend it, and only once a year. Goodbye.